Coming up right around the corner, a guy who hasn't been a two-term governor, but the way he's moving up, he might be president by the time he's 30. State Senator Garrett Love will be along with us to tell us what he's thinking of the Kansas State legislative session going on right now. Theoretically, the legislative session will wrap up, and since he is new to the whole thing, I mean, he was the high school senior class president, like 5 years ago, and then he was the student body president at Washburn just a couple of years ago, and then got elected representative. But before he was sworn in as representative, an opening popped up in his district for state senator, and he was nominated and put into that office. Right now, however, it's time to go to the state Senate. And Senator Garrett Love, welcome to the show.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on the show, Roger. Appreciate having a chance to be back on.
No problem at all. I didn't get a chance to officially on air congratulate you on your senatorship from your representativeship, so congratulations on that. So what do you think? Now, there are people who have been in the state legislature, both in the House and on the Senate side, who have been there more terms than you have. We'll just go that way with it. And of course, the bureaucracy that goes along with any government, be it local, state, or federal. So as a new guy, in a lot of ways, walking in the front door, what has been your impression of the legislative session up to this point?
You know, it's been very interesting, I guess you could say, Roger, to say the least. First off, I knew going in that it was going to be a very steep learning curve for me in starting in the legislature, first in the House for a very short period of time and in the Senate. And I knew I was going to have to work hard and work on learning a lot, listening a lot, getting after it. But as far as the process goes, that's been very interesting too, as far as how the way things work, the way things don't work, how some bills come forward, some can die, and also the power within different individuals have within different areas, whether it's the chairmans or different individuals in leadership, in directing what the Senate's going to vote on, what they're not going to vote on.
How much of it has been a surprise to you? Any of it? All of it?
I did have the chance to intern at the state capitol this past spring in the House, and that did give me some perspective. And at the start of my term this year as a senator, I actually had a couple of folks ask me who I was interning for this year, and so that was a change of perspective. And it gave me a little bit of an overview of the process. It's been an entirely different perspective. And there'd been some things I have expected, and some that wasn't as much aware of.
So when you walked in, the first couple of days, now that you can kind of look back at it, because it's hard to gain perspective without a little time, and it's not like you're looking back over decades, but looking back about 80 days ago, 90 days ago, were you a little bit in awe? I mean, even though you'd been one of the interns last year at the state rep level, was it a little different? Were you intimidated a bit?
I don't know what word I would use. I was a little bit below the average age. I'm being 23 years old.
Just a hair under, yes.
Hair. So that made it a little different, but I don't think age is a qualifier.
No,
or
it's not.
Qualifier. In being a legislator or being a good one, but I knew I wanted to go in there and work hard and gain the trust and respect from the peers and folks I was going to be working with, and so that was the priority of mine from day one.
Now, explain to the folks, you're not a state senator from the Topeka vicinity. You're from out west.
That's right, out west, and cover the area between Dodge City and Liberal, about six rural counties in southwest Kansas.
So what are you hearing from your constituents?
Yeah, I think the big one, they want us to be responsible. They want us to make good choices. They want us to make the right choices, not necessarily the political choices, which I think has occurred in the past decade. It's got us into this mess that we're in now. When we were increasing spending by 10 or 11% a year in the early to mid 2000s, we were putting ourselves on a pace and a scale that was certainly, was definitely going to put us into the mess we're in today. And yet we still made those decisions, and we can't do that. It's going to be difficult to get our way out of this mess, and we're working on it. If you didn't hear, the Senate passed its budget out 2 days ago, I believe, where we are spending close to $800 million less this year than we did last year. It's actually the first cut in total spending that our state has seen in close to 40 years. It's 1972.
Wow. That's a long time.
That is a long time. And it got a lot of support. It passed 36-3, and it was good to see folks recognizing that it's not going to be easy to get our way out of it, out of this mess, and there's going to be some hard choices connected to it, and the budget was one of them.
That is a good sign, in a way, because while the Republicans obviously do have quite a majority over the Democrats in both the House and the Senate, 36-3, most of the Democrats were on board too. There are not a lot of them, but the ones that are there, it sounds like you got a lot of their votes too. What issue besides, watch your spending? Has there been any other political issue that's been hot for you?
I think our tax structure has been another big one. I think folks recognize that we've been losing population as a state in our area, not the entire area, but and one, I believe, a very big variable that's looked at by individuals coming and going, and certainly businesses, is the tax rate, how business friendly are we going to be as a state, and that's certainly one as well. We're one of the top 10 highest income tax state in the country, top 10 highest corporate income tax states, top 10 highest property tax rates is what we have. So folks don't like that very much either. They're looking for different creative solutions, ways that we can see what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And one of those things I saw early that didn't make a whole lot of sense involved our tax return system in Kansas. You may not be familiar. Well, I'm sure you are.
I was going to say, I've paid taxes.
But as far as what's going on, though, the whole scale, the whole story, I guess, is what a lot of folks aren't familiar with. But on your state returns, you do not have to verify that your dependents exist. On the state tax returns, you merely say you have 2, 3, or 4 dependents. And the way that we are able to check and make sure those dependents are real is by a cross-check system. It takes a year to 2 years where it checks with the IRS, where you file your federal returns, where you do have to ensure that those dependents exist by giving your Social Security numbers for each of those dependents to make sure you're not just making it up. And one reason why I do think that is a good protocol to have is the last time that we did not have that system in place in our country was in the year 1986. That's when Congress decided that we needed to verify that dependents were real. We needed to acquire those Social Security numbers. And when they did that, there was something that very strange that occurred. 7 million American children disappeared, and that was on morning of April 15th. And that's how many dependents disappeared from the year before to this year. And that's because I believe the large majority of them were not real. They were just phantom exemptions where they were claimed, and that actually ended up equating out to about 1 in every 10 American children.
Phantom kids.
Phantom kids, yeah. They saved some money on the taxes, but they weren't real. And so what we have going on in Kansas is you got that cross-check system for most individuals. We've got a 1.5 million tax returns filed in the state of Kansas, but there's one program called the Food Sales Tax Refund Program.
Right.
Where if you qualify for it, which means you have a low level of income, and then also you're either disabled, elderly, or you've had a child live with you for the past year consecutively, then you can receive your food sales tax money back. that you paid in that year. But what has occurred is that many of the individuals who file for this program, which is around $350,000, and the program pays around $51 million out a year, many of the people who file for that program don't file a federal return. So early on in the session, myself and a member in the House, Terry Callaway, started visiting with some Department of Revenue folks who started presenting this as a concern, because there might be people coming forward with 7, 8, or 9 dependents, and the Department of Revenue is completely powerless to actually check and verify if these individuals are real. So this what we brought forward was a law that would require Social Security numbers for dependents, and it's anticipated to save between $3 and $5 million. I think there's a lot of issues like that out there.
Excellent.
Where we can work to save the state money.
Excellent. State Senator Garrett Love, again, congratulations, and you're going to wrap up by Saturday?
That's the plan. We'll see. The House debates their budget today, and we'll see. Have to see what they do.
All right, very good. Thank you very much, and good luck on the rest of the session. State Senator Garrett Love on 580 WIBW.